Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find yourself a nice, comfortable seated position on a cushion or a block or blanket, something that allows the back of your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is beginner's mind. So a quote from the Zen Buddhist Shunryu Suzuki, in this quote is, in the beginning, take two. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Let me repeat that. I got hung up on his name and then I lost my train of thought here. So, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. So what's a beginner's mind? It's a mindset where we drop expectations, assumptions, or preconceived ideas about something and see things with fresh eyes and an open mind, just like a beginner, where you may even think seeing the things through the eyes of a child. So you're experiencing everything as if it's brand new to you, with curiosity and wonder. Legendary yogi BKS Iyengar, decades into teaching and practicing, continued to tell his students that he had not yet perfected mountain pose. This is a legendary guru who was practicing well into his 80s, probably even 90s. And he had not yet perfected mountain pose. Iyengar knew that asserting mastery meant closing the door on growth. So he was always open to kind of exploring each and every pose. So for our pranayama this morning, and just kind of open that door of curiosity throughout today's practice. So for today's pranayama, we're going to do the Vishama Vritti, which is unequal breaths. So we're going to start with the Vishama Vritti, which is equal breaths, and there's a count to it. And then we're going to go into the Vishama Vritti by extending. We're going to do a few rounds of extending the inhale by 2 counts, and then a few rounds of extending the exhale by a few counts. And just kind of go within and see if there's any changes in your body with these different breaths. All the breaths are done with our mouths shut. Our inhale and exhale will come through our nostrils. So let's start with the equal breath. And I'll do counts of 4, and then on the extensions, I'll do counts of 6. So we'll start with the Vishama Vritti. And again, just try to go within, see how your body feels with these different variations of this Vritti breath. So equal breath, we'll start with the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last round. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then for our meditation, and you can continue with the Vishama Vritti breathing, either extending inhale, exhale, or the Sama Vritti in equal length, or just your natural breath. And I have an affirmation for you this morning. It is, I live my day with curiosity and wonder. I live my day with curiosity and wonder. And I'll meet you on the mat. may open your eyes and we'll start now on our asana practice. Let's start with our seated sun breath and chest opener. So if you kindly put your fingers to the side, and then we'll slowly inhale, lifting our hands up over our head. Nice big inhale, and you can go as fast or as slow as you want. And then exhale, and your hands come together. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, opening both hands up. And exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. So when I was reading this week about beginner's mind, especially with yoga, it's the word calisthenics, workout class came up. Inhale up. And it's the difference between, when you're thinking about what your pose is doing for you, and then come down on the exhale. And then just instead of just doing it on autopilot. And then when you're thinking about it, maybe you can make some little tweaks here and there to really make that pose work for you, not just imitating, like Simon says. And exhale, close. And do that with every single pose. And it just, that's time on your mat is time for yourself. And that is really, part of the poses, exploring each and every pose for what it does for you. And we'll do one more. Up. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. And we'll do a little variation on twist this morning. So with our fingers out to the side, we're just going to keep them out at this distance. And we're going to just kind of turn ourselves to the left, keeping our fingers out at the same distances. And hopefully, if your body's willing, you can have your fingertips facing forward and the other fingertips facing back. And then we'll just kind of turn and pivot over to the other side, trying to keep that same arm movement. So then we'll come back, just kind of think that you're like working on moving your fingers along a rim of a circle. There. Twist to one side, and then twist to the other. Just try to keep them even, back and forth, north and south, east and west. That's the trick here. And after a couple, maybe, no. I was gonna say maybe it becomes more natural, but no. We'll just do a couple more. And then we'll come back to center. And we'll come up onto our hands and knees. into tabletop. Our wrists right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. Navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice flat back. Gentle pressure in our hands, equal distribution of weight. Then we'll gently turn our head from side to side, just leading with our nose to the right. And then coming back to center, and leading with our nose to the left. Back to center. Nose to the right. Back to center. Nose to the left. Back to center. A few more times at your own pace. And then when we come back to center, back to tabletop, we'll go into cat-cows. So I like to start with rounding my back on the exhale. Just really stretching it out. Really feeling that stretch all the way down my spine. And then lifting my head and tailbone up, sending my gaze straight forward, out. And then really feeling that nice gentle curve in the back. And then again, rounding the back on the exhale. And then inhale up to cow, lifting the head, sending the gaze straight out. We'll do this a few more times, synchronizing the breath to the movement. Alrighty, and come back to tabletop. We're going to come into child's pose, extending our arms and hands forward. So lowering our hips to our ankles and then sliding our fingers forward. Really stretching out the arms, coming into child's pose. And as I mentioned earlier, seeing the world through children's eyes, everything is new and fresh to them. They're so curious about everything and how everything works and how everything's supposed to be. When you get older, you just kind of like, well, of course that's supposed to be that way. Well, maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe you adopt that beginner's mind, children seeing the world through children's eyes, and you can see new possibilities out there. Now we're going to take our hands and just slowly walk them while we're in our child pose. Slowly walk our hands over to the right. Just kind of crab crawl the hands over. And then crab crawl them back. And then crab crawl them over to the left. And then crab crawl them back to center. And then keeping our hands and our knees where they are, we're going to come back up to tabletop. And then we're going to come down. Actually, I think you might want to switch your knees back a little further. We come down to chest, chin, keeping our elbows tucked to the side. So instead of like a chaturanga, it's the knees, chest, chin version of it. So we should be with our chest and chin on the mat, hands below our shoulders, elbows tucked to our side, to our ribs, and then gently lift the chin and chest up and gently push in, coming into cobra. And then we're going to keep pushing and come back to child's pose, extending our hands forward. And then we'll do that again. So come back up to tabletop. You move your hands this time a little further up. Come down, keeping your elbows tucked to the side, down, chest, chin, keeping our hands underneath our shoulders. And then gently lifting our chin and chest up, pushing down, coming into cobra. And then pushing up to tabletop, and then back down to child's pose. And then one last time, we'll come back up to tabletop. You know what we're up to now, so you can adjust your body, either moving your knees out, your hands forward, keeping your elbows tucked toward the ribs. Come down to the chest and chin on the mat. Hands are under your shoulders, elbows tucked to the sides, lifting the chin and chest up. Come up into cobra, and then up to tabletop, and then back down to child's pose. And then we'll come back up to tabletop, and this time we'll do the tabletop where our wrists are right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. And we'll kickstand the left foot out from the mat so it's landed on the floor, and then send our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. We'll sweep the right hand up to the sky, following it with our gaze. And then we're going to lift up and bring our right hand to our right leg, coming into gate pose, lifting our left arm up, sweeping it over, coming into a nice crescent shape. So we'll go from, and then we'll move our left hand back down to the mat, come back to what is called a modified side plank. Move our right arm up to the sky. We're not going to take it back down to the mat. We'll just leave it up to the sky. And then lift up again, coming into gate pose. Bringing the right hand down to the right leg. Left hand sweeps overhead. And then back to modified side plank. Bringing the left wrist back down under the shoulder. The right hand extends straight up. And then one last time, lift up. Right hand comes down the right leg. Left hand sweeps over into gate pose. And then we'll come back down. Lifting the right arm up to the sky. And then bringing the right hand back down to the mat. Come back to tabletop. We'll do that on the other side. So kickstand your right foot out. Extend your left foot down to the end of the mat. Sweeping the left hand up to the sky. And then lifting up. Sending the left hand to the left leg. Sweeping the right hand over. And then coming back. Bringing the right hand back down to the mat. Sweeping the left hand up, straight up to the sky. And then lifting up again, back to gate pose. Sweeping the right hand over. The right hand comes back down. The left hand goes up to the sky. And one last time. Sweeping the right hand up and over. And then back down to the mat. Left hand goes straight up to the sky. And then bringing that left hand back down, coming back to tabletop. Tucking our toes under, walking our hands back. We'll come into a squat position. And then pushing down to our feet, push up into mountain pose. We'll bring our big toes so that they're in line with the straight edge of the mat. And we'll lift our toes up off the mat, spreading them as far apart as you can, bringing them back down to the mat, lifting your feet up off the mat, or your heels rather. Yeah, elevate off the mat. No, just kidding. Bring your heels back down and really feel grounded, the opposite of being elevated off your mat. So you're really grounded in your mat, feeling that strength and stillness that mountain pose provides. And it also provides the essentials of good posture. So with our legs nice and straight and strong, little gentle bend in our knees, that flexibility. Navel's tucked to the spine, really creating that nice long spine in the back of the neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back, opening up our chest. Chin is slightly tucked back, not down, but back to, again, create that nice long spine. And the crown of our head reaches up to the sky. And here we'll sweep our hands up overhead. Nice big inhale. Exhale, bring our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go, supporting our lower back. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins and create that nice long spine, back of the neck in half forward fold. And just stay here for a moment and see if you want to tweak that. Feel if you can get that nice long spine feeling. Maybe your arms need to be tweaked, elbows rising up toward your thighs. Maybe your gaze down needs to be adjusted a little bit. Instead of looking at an angle, looking straight down. Just explore a little bit to working on the goal of really creating a nice straight spine. I suppose we do each week, but maybe the way you do it could use a little tweaking. And then we'll drop the crown of our head down toward the mat for forward fold. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come up overhead, and as we bring our palms up overhead, we then lift up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly lower our arms. And slowly lower our heels back down to the mat. And we'll do that 2 more times. So gently sweeping our hands up and overhead with a nice big inhale, lifting ourselves up onto our tippy toes. And then exhale, coming back down, lowering our heels slowly as we lower our hands down. And one last time, sweeping up. Coming up onto our tippy toes. And really stretch our hands to the sky. And then come back down on the exhale. And as we come back down, we're going to have our feet land on the mat, and then our hands are going to lower down to the mat as well with our knees bent. And then hands Come to our shins again, half forward fold. And the crown of our head drops down to the mat, toward the mat. For forward fold. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead again. Big inhale. And we'll do a few side stretches. So once our hands come together, we'll send the right hand down to the right thigh and slide it down toward the right knee, creating that nice crescent shape with the upper torso. And lifts and comes back to the other hand. And then we'll drop the left hand down, slide that hand down toward the knee, and then come back up. And we'll do that once again on both sides. Right hand comes down, sliding it down, tipping over to the right side, and then coming back up. Left hand comes down, and tipping over to the left side. And then coming back up. Exhale, bringing both hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands come to the shins. Half forward fold. And then dropping the crown of the head down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And I'm going to turn to the side here. We're going to have our feet about hip width apart. We're just going to do a few leg lifts and then extending them behind us. So whatever width, it may be closer than hip width to feel comfortable as you lift one leg up. And then just send it back, not too far back, but back far enough and land on your toe. And then we're going to roll down our foot until you are on your entire foot, toe to heel. Front leg, the opposite leg is bent. And then we'll come back to mountain pose. We'll do that on the other side. So lifting the leg up, just kind of peeling it up off the mat, and then we're going to place it behind us, starting with the toe, and then just kind of rolling down our foot till we reach the heel and the whole foot is on the mat. And we'll bring that back to mountain. We'll do that again on each side. So lifting our right leg up, bending it back. You experiment maybe a little further back, rolling it down. You see how your front knee bends even more the further back you extend your leg. And then one last time on the other side, lifting the foot up and then sending it back and rolling it down. Really feeling that connection to the mat as you roll it down. And then back to mountain pose. We'll sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to our shins. Half forward fold. And then crown of the head reaches down toward the mat. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then the palms come to the back of the hips. Fingertips pointing down. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward the chest. And we'll go back into a supported back bend. And then just roll your shoulders back as far as what's comfortable to keep your breath at a nice even flow of inhales and exhales. And then we'll come back up to mountain. Moving right along. So we're going to come into mountain pose with our hands at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Lift our right leg up, and we're going to send it back. This time, send it as far back as possible, and when you land, you can pivot onto your full foot. And then we're going to come into Warrior Two. So with your front knee over your ankle, you're able to see your big toes. Back foot's kind of snug, the outer edge is snug against the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. Chest is reaching and stretching toward the long edge of the mat. And then we'll sweep our hands up and slowly and gently turning our gaze to our front fingers, left fingers. And just kind of sit here for a moment and feel how that pose is, and tweak a little more. Maybe you want to stretch out your stance a little bit more or bring it closer together. Maybe your arms aren't comfortable in this position, so you bring one down or the other one down. It's a strength pose, so the strength is a lot to do with your legs. Then we'll drop the back arm down, lifting the front fingers up, coming into reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. And then bringing that front arm back down, resting the forearm on the thigh, and sweeping the right hand all the way up to the sky, sending your gaze up to your fingertips. And then bring your right hand all the way down to the mat, pivoting your back foot, coming into runner's lunge. And your right hand on the mat, we're going to sweep the left hand up, so runner's lunge with a twist. And then bringing the left hand back down, bringing your right knee down to the mat. Do a few half monkeys here. In today's version, we'll have ourselves riding our leg down. So we're going to keep our torso connected to our thigh and straighten out the front leg, bringing our head down closer to the mat as we straighten out our leg. So we're kind of keeping our chin close to our knee. And then coming back up again, we'll stretch forward, lifting our chest and chin up and straight. And we'll do that 2 more times. So keeping our torso connected, Keeping our chin and knee close to one another, we'll straighten out that leg and then bring it back up and extend our chest forward. And one last time, riding the knee and leg down. And then coming back up and stretching our chest up and out. And then we're going to take our back foot, tuck our toes under, coming back up to runner's lunge, and then bring that foot a little closer, maybe about a half a foot closer, landing it on the angle, just like we were doing with Warrior Two. And we're going to come into pyramid pose. So the front leg is as comfortably straight as you can get it, chin toward our knee. And then for an additional stretch, we're going to take our left hand, planting it on the mat, and come into triangle pose. So our right hand will sweep up to the sky. And then when we're there, we're going to lift up into Warrior Two again. So you may have your feet in the right position, or you may need to move them a little further apart. So back to Warrior Two, sending our gaze to our front fingers, lifting our front fingers up to Peaceful Warrior. And this time we're going to lower our hand, our left hand from the sky, all the way down to the mat, having it rest right beside our foot, sending our right hand up to the sky. Extended side pose, only with our hand on the mat. And then bringing our right hand down, pivoting our foot, coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll bring our back foot up to meet our right foot, our left foot rather, both feet together. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Well done. We'll do that on the other side. Looks like the sun's trying to come out here. Sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, palms come to heart center. And then we'll lift our left leg up and extend it as far back as you can so that we can come into Warrior Two. You want to scooch it back a little. So your right knee's over your right ankle. You can see your right toes. The edge of your left foot's nice and snug in the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. Chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Arms sweep up. Shoulder height. And then gently turning our gaze to our right fingertips. And slowly lowering the left hand down, lifting the right hand up to the sky. Reverse warrior. And then bringing that forearm down to the right thigh. And sweeping the left hand up to the sky, expand the angle, side angle. And then bring the left hand down to the mat, pivoting it on your feet, coming back to a runner's lunge. The left hand is placed on the mat. We'll sweep the right hand up to the sky. And then come back down to the mat. And slowly lower your left knee down to the mat. Now we'll do the half monkeys. So we straighten out our leg as we ride our connection of our torso to our thigh, riding our leg down. We'll straighten our knee as far as what's comfortable. Keeping the chin toward that knee, and then bringing the knee back up and extending our chest up and forward. And we'll come back and straighten out that leg again as we ride it down. Chin toward the knee. We'll do that nice and slowly to give our muscles and tendons time to adjust. And lifting up our chest, stretching it forward. Nice gentle movement. One last time. Straightening out our leg, bringing our chin toward the knee. And then coming back up again. And then slowly lifting our chest up and out. And then coming back to runner's lunge. We're going to bring our back toes under, tuck it under, coming into runner's lunge. And then moving that back foot up just a little bit. And then going into pyramid pose. So again, straightening out that front leg, bringing the chin toward the knee. And then bringing our right hand down on the mat to support us as we raise our left hand up to the sky in triangle pose. And then we'll lift our left hand up to the sky, coming up into warrior two. That was a little tricky. Someone didn't grab my hand and lift it like I was expecting them to. So we'll come into warrior two again. Knee is over the ankle. Be able to see our big toe. Back foot's nice and snug. Navel's tucked to the spine. Chest is facing the long side of the mat. Sweeping our arms up to shoulder height. And sending our gaze to our front fingertips. And lifting up our front fingertips to the sky. Reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. And we'll bring our right hand down and all the way down to the mat. So that plants itself right alongside of our front foot, sweeping our left hand up to the sky. And then bringing the left hand down, pivot our foot and come back to runner's lunge. And then bringing the left foot up to join the right foot, forward fold. And sweeping our hands all the way up to the sky. Hands come together. Hands come to heart center. And we'll bring our pinky toes out to the sides. Tuck our heels in at a 45-degree angle. Hands come to heart center. Anjali Mudra. And then start to lower your hips toward the mat, opening up your knees, bringing your torso between your legs, and resting your elbows on the inner part of your knees. Wide-legged squat. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat. And we're going to roll down, and you can choose your method. Straight legs, bent legs, or hands tucked under bent legs. Choose whichever you like today. I'm going to do bent legs method. Haven't done that one in a while. And then bring your knees to your chest. Interlace your fingers right below the knees and give your legs a nice, gentle hug. Maybe rock your back. I mentioned before that this is child's pose, only on your back instead of facing down, you're facing up. And it's that looking at things with a different perspective, curiosity and wonder. And then we'll bring our feet down to the mat. And this one we're going to do windshield wipers. So again, I would like you to kind of just experiment with the placement of your feet while you move your knees back and forth from one side to another. And seeing if having your feet closer together or further apart works better to kind of emulate that windshield wiper movement. So I'm going to drop my knees to the right. Try to keep my sit bones, my glutes, my butt, on the mat as best I can. And we'll bring my knees back to center and then move them over to the other side, sweeping them over the other side. And then back again to one side. Maybe kind of put a little effort into moving the inner leg down toward the mat. Just experiment a little bit with this pose. Maybe you like the even rhythm of the windshield wiper movement, and you enjoy that. And then we'll bring our knees back to center. And this time, maybe tuck your heels up toward your hips, bringing your arms alongside, palms down to support you. You can go into a few bridges. So we're going to round our lower spine, making that bowl shape with our tummy, and then push down to our feet, lifting our hips up toward the sky. Then slowly lowering back down, one vertebrae at a time, really feeling that connection to the mat. And then we'll do that again in rounding the lower back, making that bowl shape, pushing down into your feet, lifting your hips up to the sky. And slowly lowering back down again. Until you land, and then one last time, again, creating that bowl, pushing down your feet, lifting your hips up to the sky. And slowly lowering down in that connection all along your spine. And when you've landed, you can send your feet forward to the end of the mat. Send the heels to each corner. And prepare for Shavasana. Just let your feet drop open to the sides. Relax your body. Maybe take a deep inhale through your nose and a big exhale through your mouth. And as you exhale, just release your body into the mat. And I have a poem for you by Mary Oliver. And it's titled Mindful. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight and leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy, in acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.